What do we want from a Max Driver? Distance, forgiveness, hit loads of fairways, and this is big for me. Be good in a draw setting, because if you're a golfer that slices it, then this is the driver you're probably going to be looking at.
Ooh,
now,
look at that
so
baby
far in
draw.
2025, there are only 2 drivers out: the Callaway and the TaylorMade Qi35. This is the battle. Now there's a difference. We're not only going to test what ball speed, what club head speed, what average carry we get, but how good are each of these drivers in the draw setting? So the precedence of what is the best forgiving driver so far in 2025. So let's start with just a brief look at the looks. So here is the head cover. I think I actually prefer this head cover a lot. And here is the head cover for the TaylorMade Qi35. I'll be honest, when I reviewed these drivers, I slated them. I slated them a lot. Okay, so let's have a look at the base of these drivers, because in one you get a little more tech. Now, this is maybe where TaylorMade have dropped a bit of a clanger here, because you can see here on the left hand side in the Callaway, you can move this weight at the back from neutral to more draw. Now, the only way we can do that here on the TaylorMade Qi35 is make the lie angle a little more upright. Be honest, which one do we like the look of down below? Probably the Qi35, even though right now, bang for your buck, technology, you're getting a little more here in the Callaway, because you can move this weight underneath. Now, let's have a look at these down behind the ball. Again, I'm going to be honest with you, the look of the TaylorMade is far more superior. This just looks a little more triangulated. I'm saying this because this is what I felt when I first reviewed them, but what are your thoughts? Let me know which one you'd prefer. I also don't like this contrast here. It's a little bit of a ridge, whereas you've got that sort of infinity look here on the right hand side in the TaylorMade. Face-wise, you've got a carbon face, and here you've got a 10 times better AI face. So improvements on last year. Right, let's start hitting. Both in their neutral settings, both with the shaft that I would use in this driver. Which one do we go? Let's go Callaway. I actually don't know which one's going to be best here. Both went pretty good in testing. This is going to be seriously close. Now, I'm not anticipating these numbers to be long today, because look how many layers I've got on, and you can see my breath. But we are going to capture the data on every single one so we can analyze this at the end. This is the first one. We're looking at dispersion. We're looking at clubber speed, ball speed. What are our averages? Okay, first drive. I am warmed up, so there's no benefit for the TaylorMade going second. Yeah, that looks so big down behind the ball. It's crazy. It's definitely the look of this change in area. Anyway, let's get on with this hit. Here we go. That was out the heel, but look how straight that's gone. And that has gone high. Now, noise-wise, that sounded really good. I like how high-pitched it was. So look at some numbers there. You can tell it was out the heel, and it's cold. So here you go. I mean, this is what you want from a max setting driver, because the person who's going to use this, or you're getting this, so if you do hit it off the heel, we end up hitting the fairway. So numbers-wise there, God, you can tell it's cold. This is like 30 yards down when I tested it in Spain. 220-yard carry. 4,000 spin because it's out the heel, slightly slower club head speed, 153.6 ball speed, and total wise, 253. Should have shown you that, because that makes me look a lot better than that. That makes me look cold. Anyway, let's now get the TaylorMade out, and let's have a little look at this down behind the ball. Like, name-wise, it's always a big thing, isn't it? Like, we get to the start of the year and everybody's like, oh, which is the best? Which is the best? Do we like the name? Do we not like the name? Here's me saying that the Callaway look the biggest. Definitely the TaylorMade does now. I'm looking at them both next to each other again. Maybe it's the grey. Everyone says you look slimmer in black, right? Here we go. Now, one thing that I really do like, they had this in last year's model, this subtle little line. For alignment, you can really see if your face is closed, it's open, and then these nice little details around the back. I do really prefer the crown, the infinity look to this. So in terms of looks, I think personally, we should have the head cover of the Callaway, the looks of the TaylorMade. There's a really good looking driver there. I know the head cover has literally nothing to do with it. Here is our second shot. Now remember, these are just in their absolute normal setting. We will put them in their max draw. You do get a little more tech in that Callaway. Here we go. First shot with the TaylorMade. a little left, it's fading back. That one might just miss the fairway, get a piece. Edge of the fairway, that one. But a little more distance. Again, that was out the heel this morning. Must be the layers. That was about there. I do like the look of that face more as well. It looks a little more futuristic, doesn't it? And I will say this, I've slated the carbon face in the past, but this feels firm. I hate a feeling of a soft face. So briefly, look at these numbers right here. 230 carry, a little more club head speed, a little more ball speed, spin quite high because it was out the heel, and overall total distance, only a few yards more. Okay, 2 shots down. Now, we're going to assume that these are around the same price point. TaylorMade and Callaway are usually quite close, aren't they? Now, I'm talking stock. If you want to pay for upgrade shafts and all that, that's where the price can really change. But in terms of like if they were the same price, I mentioned this setting right here, and we will explore this. But you're probably wondering what this does. Now, essentially, the weight here is a 13 gram weight. I like how this looks. It's a little bit like they had in the, what was that driver now? I always remember this, what was it? The first one, come on, had jailbreak. It had the AI face, the colours. You can think of it, Alex. Was it the Fusion? Let me down below. You'll know what I mean. I'll put the driver up here. I think it was the Fusion. I'm looking at them right there, and the TaylorMade is definitely looking slightly bigger. It looks more domey, whereas like the Callaway's a little more triangulated. So we're back to the Callaway now, and I like that little detailing. That's nice. Just why can't they make that all seamless? They say this is to help alignment. I feel it's ugly, brutal. Let me know what you think. Right, here we go. Shot number 2. It is blooming cold this morning, so as I say, I'm anticipating the numbers to be slightly down. Now remember, these are in the neutral setting completely. We've hit the fairway with the first Callaway. Here comes the second shot. Look at that fly. I'm even going to say that's not perfect, but that is a great flight. That'll be 2 for 2 on the fairway. Oh, these numbers are getting a bit better. Slightly high spin still, 3.5, 155 ball speed. We're getting closer to that middle. Now, I just want to talk about one thing right here, this. Because this driver right here, we're going to assume usually Callaway and TaylorMade are around the same price point. Now that is taking out the fact that you might have an upgraded shaft. We're going to assume though, at stock, these are exactly the same price. You've got so much more adjustability and customization in the ball flight in this than you do in the TaylorMade. So straight away you're thinking, okay, there's a little more I can do with this, which is a good thing, right? More bang for your buck. Now, how this works is, you'll notice this is a 13 gram weight. It's sat in the neutral setting. So imagine the center of gravity is now in this straight line. The more I move it towards the heel, so into this draw, and I like how they've done this. It's very, oh, what's that driver again? Epic Flash vibes. Very epic Flash vibes, right? Not a sliding one, but you can sort of move that way. The more I move it towards the heel, the CG then moves more towards the heel. And then if I hold the driver this way, the CG is going from, let's say here, more here. That increases the rate of closure of the toe. So we're less likely to leave the face open, more likely for it to be closed, and that's why it gets a little more draw bias. We are going to test that. I'm really interested to see if that actually makes more of a difference than just making that driver sit upright in the TaylorMade. Dropped a bit of a clanger there, TaylorMade, haven't they? They definitely should have had adjustability in that, so somebody can customize their ball flight more. Right, let's go for another shot here with the Callaway. This is shot number 3. We're 2 for 2 on the fairway right now, which is impressive. See if these numbers can get up a little more. Ooh, look at that baby draw. That is 3 for 3. That is a much nicer ball flight. That's because you found the middle, Alex. Woo! They jumped up. Now, interestingly, I'm moving this driver slower than the TaylorMade. Remember, these are the shafts that I would use in both of them, and the whole story with Callaway this year is improved aerodynamics, so essentially giving you more club head speed. So that battle I'm really interested in. I have no idea which way this is going to go, because that's just jumped up to a 244 carry. And look how many layers I've got on. 1, 2, 3. ridiculous. Now, out of the drivers we've seen so far this year, the two we've seen, which one are you liking the most? Which one are you thinking, you know what? I might go for that one. You know what? I like the story behind that. I like the ideas in tech. Well, if we're looking at the Max models on paper, just because we get more bang for our buck, we've got to test this though. We've got to test it. I'm fearing for this TaylorMade. Why haven't we got any adjustability in here? The one thing I would say, and this is something to bear in mind, as you're looking at this at address, I do feel there is slightly more offset. And essentially, that makes the driver look a little more closed down at address, and I feel there's a little more offset in the look and the characteristics of this driver over the Callaway. Let's change this. Qi35 MAX, that is selected, same target line, ball number 2. We missed the fairway on the first one, just I think. So this is interesting. 3 for 3 on the Callaway, 0 fairways to the TaylorMade right now. Oh yes, I'm going to stand and pose that one all day. Woo! Tiger twirl that one. That was a good drive. Ball number 3 with the TaylorMade. Oh, wow! Ha! Yes! That was good. Let's have a little look at this data, right? I wonder which one is slightly edging it. Let's go all shots. Carry. Wow! Callaway's just nudging it. 232 yards over 229. Wow, that makes me look really short. It's cold, I promise you. Let's have a look at clubhead speed, because I'm really interested to see that one. 105 to 107. Now, interestingly, the TaylorMade is slightly more clubhead speed, so that ball speed then is slightly more in the TaylorMade as well. Now, maybe because I've got, the spin must be way higher. Yeah, the spin's a lot higher in the TaylorMade, so maybe not quite found out the middle yet, but it is a very, very close battle. Now, if we just go down the range and have a look at all shots and the dispersion, here we go. So, the biggest dispersion here, the left to right, is the TaylorMade. The right-hand side column here, this one, that is the Callaway, and that's this here. So Callaway is edging it on quite a few factors right now. Now, the test is not over. It's interesting that, isn't it? I'm spinning the TaylorMade more. I've got quite a lot more ball speed, quite a lot more clubhead speed. Just find the middle, Alex. But you've got to think, it's not all about distance. So let's adjust these drivers. So we're going to move this weight, and you can make this more upright, but I'm just going to move this weight on this one, because this is what this tech's all about. See that? Just here we go. Place it in the draw setting. We're moving then the CG more in towards the heel, which, as I say, makes the rate of closure of that toe increase. So when you're thinking about adjusting your driver, it might not be this one, it might be an older driver, it might be anything, right? That will make it a more draw bias. So that one's set up. Now, as I keep saying, bang for your buck, you don't have that. You do have a heavy weight here at the back to increase MOI and make it more forgiving, but you can't then like sort of adjust that. Now, really interestingly, they sort of lost this lip. In the Qi10, there's a bit more of a lip here, and I do think this is a look and an upgrade on the look of the Max from last year, just purely because it's not got that massive, great big blooming overhang, and it doesn't look like a frying pan down behind the ball. Grey is definitely a slipping factor for this driver compared to last year's. Not slim compared to the Callaway, but slim compared to last year's. Right, okay, so standard. So what I'm going to do here is, you can see it was set on standard. Now we're going to go all the way around to upright lie. So that'll get this to look a little more upright at address. Still the same loft as the Callaway, but this will give me a better chance of, if you're a golfer who's missing it off to the right, start the ball launching a little more left, which could be a really good thing for you. So let's see which one's best in this setting. Oh my days, that looks so upright. Now, essentially how this works is the toe will be more off the ground, which points the loft a little more to the left. So it sort of goes like this. As opposed to if I made the line go flatter, that would put the toe more down the ground, and that would cause the ball to launch a little more to the right. Okay, let's go with ball number 4. We're hitting 2 away in each of these settings, and then it's time to go over the entirety of this data to see which, so far, remember there is more drivers to come out, is the best Max driver. It's not over. This just sort of has the crown for a very short period, depending on which one wins. Now I'm going to aim this up the right wing towards those trees, because that looks so upright. Like, this driver should start left now. Like, when you're buying a Max Driver, you want max forgiveness, as I said, and you want to have it where, if I do slice it, I can put it in the most upright setting, or the most draw bias setting, to get the ball to not miss off to the right and be straighter. I nearly went that way then, because it was my right, but actually, that's the right on this hole. Here we go, aiming up the right. Put a good swing on this one. Oh, there we go. Look at that drawing back. That was impressive. That felt like it was going to do that. A 160 ball speed, 242 carry, 110 club head speed. I'm definitely moving this faster. Definitely. Spin's still a little high. Right, let's change that back. Don't forget, we will go through all these averages back to the Callaway. Interestingly, when I was testing this out in Spain, when I had a lot less layers on, this really did draw to the point where I was like slinging it, which I did say in my original review. It was like, okay, well, that's what this driver should do, and that should give you a lot of confidence. Let's see if we do it here in this driver battle. So in the big draw setting, we've moved the CG into draw. Let's see what ball flight we get. Again, I'm gonna aim up that right. This looks massive. Keep looking at this one, it feels like a triangle. That was smoked. I have no idea where that went, so hopefully you can see on the shot tracer, but that was absolutely smoked. Wow, that was good numbers. This definitely spins better. You know what? I quite much prefer this off the face as well. Feels a little more solid. I prefer the sound. 2.6 spin, 2.45 carry, 107.8 club head speed. Slightly lower ball speed though. Even though I prefer the feel of this, data-wise, I've not got as much ball speed, but the spin is right where I want it. This is interesting, and maybe that is because the club head speed is a little slower than what we do have in that TaylorMade. Okay, right, enough me gibbering on. We've got 2 more to hit, 1 more in each driver in this draw setting, and then let's go through this data. Does anybody get what I mean there with the triangle? Does anybody get what I mean there by this bit being quite triangulated? It was nice to get that last one out the middle. Okay. And it did actually end down the middle. I just checked on the data, which is great. Okay, here we go. Oh, that's drawn so much. Oh, get down. I guess that must have drawn like 30 yards. Wow, that would help a slicer. Wow, that is not what I was expecting in that setting. Look at it move again. If you're a slicer, that's got to be a dream. It's that time. We've hit all the shots. It's weird because I was really thinking that this would be massively better, but it's I think this is really close. So let's start with those factors, right? Interestingly, the TaylorMade is 2 miles an hour faster exactly. A 108 over a 106. 2 miles an hour. I'd move this one quicker. Like, remember, these are the shafts that are set up for me, and these are the ones that I would use. So we haven't got that argument to go at. Okay, so let's now go into ball speed. Ball speed, the TaylorMade is considerably quicker. 158.9 over a 155.7. So those 2 factors are smash in this favour. Weirdly though, I will keep going on about this, I did prefer the feel of the Callaway off the face. I do prefer the adjustability, however I do prefer the looks of the TaylorMade. Right, now what does that translate to in terms of carry? Because this is interesting. The Callaway actually goes further. Now the big thing about this is, I hit this more out the middle than this one. I got this one a little bit spinny, more heel bias, and that really did affect that. Qi35 MAX, 233 yards carry over the Callaway at 238 yards. And you're going to see that here with the spin, right? That spin is through the roof on the Qi35, and that is a little bit down to strike location over where I got them really quite nice, a 2,900 spin, which is not far off where I quite like it, hence why we're getting a few more yards. Now, in terms of dispersion, this is what we're looking at. You can see the TaylorMade is a much smaller circle, that inner circle here, whereas the Callaway is actually a little bit more of a bigger circle. There's a couple of drives in there that really did hurt it once we got it in the draw setting. So even though this overdrew, which you could argue was the design of this, overall, this hit more fairways. It's a strange one. This one wins a lot of the data, but the factor of carry is not quite there. Again, I hold my hands up. It's due to strike location. But what do we want from a Max Driver? We want a bit of distance. It's not really that short. We want good ball speed, we want good club head speed. We just want it to hit the fairway and be good in the draw setting. Between these two, well, data-wise, in terms of carry, this wins. All the factors, this wins. But being honest with you, outside of the data, I like the adjustability in this. I think it gives you a bit more bang for your buck. That's my honest opinion on these Max drivers for 2025. But which one do you prefer? Thanks for watching.